Everyone thinks they know Texas. Cowboys, barbecue, wide-open highways stretching into the horizon. But what most people don't realize is that hidden between those endless highways and forgotten back roads are towns where something just feels wrong. Places where gas station attendants stare too long, where streetlights flicker even when there's no wind, where locals don't answer your questions. They just tell you, keep driving. Tonight, we're counting down the top 10 creepiest small towns in Texas, places locals themselves warn outsiders not to visit after dark. These aren't urban legends. These are real towns, real stories, real disappearances, real whispers. And by the end of this video, you might start looking at Texas very differently. Let's begin. 10. Talingua, Texas. Population, around 100 permanent residents. At first glance, Talingua looks like something out of a Wild West movie set, because it basically is. It's a ghost town. Once a booming mercury mining town in the early 1900s, Talingua collapsed when the mine shut down. Businesses abandoned, homes left to rot, families vanished almost overnight. Today, what remains is a haunting skeleton of crumbling adobe buildings and desert silence. But here's where it gets strange. Visitors report feeling watched while walking alone, hearing footsteps in abandoned buildings, lights flickering in structures with no electricity. And then there's the cemetery. The Talingua Cemetery sits on a small hill overlooking the desert. Many graves are unmarked, some date back over 100 years. Every year on Dia de los Muertos, locals gather to celebrate the dead. But some visitors claim they've seen figures standing among the graves long after everyone has left. Figures that don't move. Figures that don't blink. And when approached, disappear. Even stranger, cell service often drops unexpectedly in certain parts of town. Locals don't act surprised. They just say, the desert keeps what it wants. 9. Jefferson, Texas. Jefferson looks charming during the day. Historic homes, brick streets, old Southern architecture. But by night, it's one of the most haunted towns in Texas. Jefferson was once a major river port in the 1800s. Money flowed, crime followed. Murders, gambling dens, brothels, unsolved disappearances. Many believe the spirits never left. The Grove House is said to be one of the most haunted homes in the state. Visitors claim objects move on their own. Children's laughter echoes through empty halls. A woman in white appears in upstairs windows. And then there's the Jefferson Hotel. Guests report waking up at 3 a.m. to cold hands grabbing their ankles, doors slamming shut, shadow figures standing at the foot of the bed. Room 19 is the most infamous. Some guests check in. Few make it through the night. Locals don't deny the stories. They just say, you'll believe it when you stay. 8. Marfa, Texas. Marfa is known worldwide for one thing: the Marfa lights. Strange glowing orbs that appear in the desert at night. Scientists have tried to explain them. Car headlights, atmospheric reflections, swamp gas. But the lights were documented before cars even existed. Witnesses describe floating spheres of white, blue, or red light. Lights that split into two, then merge back together. Orbs that chase vehicles before vanishing. But that's not the only unsettling thing about Marfa. It's isolated. Very isolated. Drive 20 minutes outside town and you're swallowed by pitch-black desert. No lights, no houses, no help. There have been reports of missing hikers, abandoned vehicles found on desert roads, engines still warm. No sign of the driver. Locals don't talk much about it, but if you ask about the lights, they'll say, don't follow them. 7. Teaser for next section. There's a town in Texas where an entire hotel burned down under mysterious circumstances, and some say the screams never stopped. And another town where residents claim something lives in the woods, something that doesn't show up on trail cameras. We're just getting started. Texas is big, bigger than most countries, bigger than most people realize. And between its endless highways, oil fields, pine forests, and desert plains, there are towns that feel wrong. Not abandoned, not empty, just wrong. Places where locals stop talking when you walk in, where gas stations close before sunset, where streetlights flicker on roads that no longer lead anywhere. Tonight, we're counting down the top 10 creepiest small towns in Texas, places locals quietly warn outsiders to avoid after dark. These aren't just ghost stories, they're real towns, with real history, real crime, real disappearances, and real fear. Let's begin. 10. Terlinqua. Out in the Chihuahuan Desert near Big Bend National Park sits Terlinqua. At first glance, it looks like a quirky desert ghost town. Old adobe ruins, scattered trailers, art installations baked under the sun. But Terlinqua wasn't always empty. In the early 1900s, it was a booming mercury mining town. Thousands lived here, businesses thrived, money flowed. Then, the mines shut down, and almost overnight, the town collapsed. Families left, buildings crumbled, the desert took back what was built. Today, fewer than 100 permanent residents remain. Visitors say the silence here feels heavy. At night, there are no city lights, no traffic, just wind moving across broken walls. Some travelers report hearing footsteps inside abandoned structures. Others claim they've seen lights flicker in buildings without electricity. And then there's the cemetery. Perched on a small hill, overlooking miles of desert, Terlinqua Cemetery holds graves dating back over a century, some marked, many not. Tourists who visit after dark say they've seen figures standing among the graves long after everyone else has gone home. Figures that don't move, figures that disappear when approached. Locals don't deny it, they just say, the desert keeps what it wants. 9. Jefferson. Jefferson looks charming during the day. Historic homes, brick streets, bed and breakfast inns, southern hospitality. But Jefferson is widely considered one of the most haunted towns in Texas. In the 1800s, it was a major river port. Wealth poured in, so did crime. Gambling, shootouts, brothels, unsolved murders. Many believe the spirits never left. The Jefferson Hotel is infamous. Guests report doors slamming shut on their own, faucets turning on in the middle of the night, cold hands grabbing ankles at 3 a.m. Room 19 is the one most people talk about. Some check in, few sleep. The Grove House, another historic property, is said to host the spirit of a woman in white seen standing in upstairs windows. Children's laughter has reportedly echoed through empty hallways. Jefferson doesn't hide its haunted reputation, it sells it. But locals will quietly admit something unsettling. Not every story is for tourists. 8. Marfa. Marfa is small, remote, artistic, isolated, and famous for one thing, the Marfa lights. For over a century, mysterious glowing orbs have appeared in the desert outside town. White, blue, red, floating, splitting apart, merging back together. Scientists have offered explanations, atmospheric reflections, distant headlights, temperature inversions. But the lights were documented before automobiles existed. Witnesses say the lights sometimes move towards cars, sometimes follow them, sometimes vanish when approached. But the real fear isn't the lights, it's the isolation. Drive 20 minutes outside Marfa at night and you're swallowed by darkness. No street lights, no houses, no signal. There have been reports of abandoned vehicles found on desert roads, engines still warm, drivers missing. Official explanations vary. Locals offer fewer details. They just say, don't chase the lights. 7. Yorktown. Yorktown seems peaceful. Small houses, quiet streets, rural calm. But inside town stands the abandoned Yorktown Memorial Hospital, closed in 1986. Since then, it's gained a reputation as one of the most paranormally active locations in Texas. Visitors report wheelchairs moving on their own, whispers in empty corridors, shadow figures in patient rooms. Some claim to hear a nurse crying late at night. Others say their equipment malfunctions inside the building, batteries draining instantly, cameras glitching. The hospital sits silent now, but locals avoid it after dark, and they don't joke about it. 6. Helena. Helena was once known as the toughest town in Texas. In the late 1800s, it was violent. Shootouts were common, lawlessness ruled, bodies fell in the streets. When the railroad bypassed the town, Helena slowly died. Today, it's nearly abandoned.
Old buildings still stand, doors hanging open, windows shattered. Visitors report hearing what sounds like distant gunshots late at night. Others say they've seen silhouettes standing inside ruined buildings, only to vanish when approached. Helena feels frozen, like it never fully let go of its past. 5. Groveton. Groveton sits near dense East Texas forests, tall pine trees, long stretches of empty road, minimal cell service. The town became infamous after a series of brutal murders in the 1970s that still spark debate today. But beyond crime history, locals speak of something else. Hunters have reported hearing screams deep in the woods, not animal, not human. Some claim trail cameras malfunction in certain areas. A few missing persons cases in surrounding forests remain unresolved. Law enforcement attributes most incidents to wilderness dangers. Locals simply avoid certain areas after sunset. 4. Saratoga, Bragg Road. Bragg Road is a dirt road cutting through forest near Saratoga. By day, it looks ordinary. By night, people come searching for the ghost light. Witnesses describe a floating orb appearing at the end of the road. It grows brighter, moves closer, then disappears. Some believe it's swamp gas. Others say it's the spirit of a railroad worker killed long ago. Drivers report their cars stalling, phones losing signal, static on radios. The road itself feels endless at night and very, very quiet. 3. Old Alton Bridge, Denton area. Better known as Goatman's Bridge. Legend says a local farmer was lynched here decades ago. Since then, stories claim something still lingers. Visitors report hearing hooves on the wooden planks, growling beneath the bridge, scratches appearing on cars parked nearby. Whether legend or folklore, the atmosphere is undeniably tense, especially after midnight. 2. Port Arthur. Industrial, foggy, heavy with refinery smoke. Parts of Port Arthur have seen economic collapse, hurricanes, and rising crime. Abandoned neighborhoods sit in decay. Residents report lights flickering in empty homes, voices in vacant buildings, the feeling of being watched. It's not marketed as haunted, but some areas feel forgotten, and sometimes forgotten places feel the most unsettling. 1. The most unsettling, uncertain Texas. Yes, that's the name, uncertain. Population under 100, surrounded by swamps near Caddo Lake. Fog rolls in thick at night. Cypress trees rise from dark water. Spanish moss hangs like shadows. It feels disconnected from the world. Locals fish, boat, live quietly. But visitors often describe an overwhelming feeling of unease. Strange splashes in still water, shapes moving between trees, echoes across the lake at night. It's beautiful, but isolating. And sometimes isolation is the creepiest thing of all. Outro. Texas is massive. Most towns are safe. Most roads lead somewhere normal. But some places feel like they're holding something back. If you've ever visited one of these towns, let us know your experience. And if you plan to, maybe don't stay after dark.